And we're back for another Alliance War video. This time for Loki's taking on SSx. Have a ton of friends over there. A bunch of them have channels. There's Rob. There's MP Blaze, DLL, TJ, Bryce, Nah, Vega, Simula, Campo, Infamous, Bitter, Steel, Matu Hill, F2P. Probably a bunch more that I'm not forgetting over there, but uh, always a little bittersweet, facing off against friends, but it happens, and got to go forth and do our best. So the bans for this war were Nimrod, Omega Red, and Scorpion. In Section 1, I'm on Path 2. Section 2, I'm on Path 7. And then 2 mini bosses, including my first fight against a 7-star. All right, first up, we have Kate Bishop. Apocalypse turns off her stun purification with his abilities, and his passive prowess also turns off roll with the punches. So this is really just a duel at this point. The biggest threat for Kate is either her evading out of a stun debuff if you don't prevent her from purifying it, and also her effects triggering through the block on the special 2 with the second hit of arrow. If you don't know how to dex it, just bait special ones. Otherwise, you're gonna get your cold snap through the block, and Kate's is pretty vicious with that cold snap. Next up, we have Kingpin. This is really just another straight up apocalypse fight. The biggest worry here is critting too much and the global taking effect and having to deal with Kingpin special 2. In that effect, I'm taking off the Precision Mastery for this fight and the previous fight to try to limit their power as much as possible. But nothing else to worry about there. And next up, we have our one fight with Mr. Fantastic. We have the 3 pre-fights applied just to turn off Doom, limit his power gain from combat power rate, and debuff Siphoner just for despair and inequity. Other than that, it's straight up Mr. Fantastic versus Doom. He is a perfect counter, and if your debuffs do end up falling off at one point, just throw another special 2, and you just restart the fight. Next up, we have this Mantis on Note 53. In counter to the other previous global fights, I want to push her to a special 2, so I'm putting Precision back on for this fight. So I can hopefully crit a few times through the Challenger rating mismatch with the 7-star. The biggest worry is her 25% Tranquilize, preventing me from getting the debuff, so I won't be able to take advantage of Polka Dot Power. The other worry is her throwing special 1s and putting the Encroaching Sleep on. APOC can get around that as long as he has a special 2 throw. Anyone with a with a prowess effect can remove the Encroaching Sleep at any time. It doesn't need to be timed perfectly. Just throw a special and that Encroaching Sleep effect is removed. So my goal in this fight is going to be push her to special 2s and then use my special 2 with the power back boosts to try and throw as many as possible. You could throw special 1s and hope the poison gets through the 25% tranquilize, which would allow you to stun her. But no, it's just a risk. You don't get any power back from the boost that way, but it's a relatively straightforward fight. Not the top counter. That's probably Toad, but rank 4 APOC versus rank 3 Toad. I'm going to choose rank 4 APOC. And then finally, we've got this Wong. We've got the guidance to turn off Limber. And, just I had extra read pre-fight, so I just threw him on for this fight. The biggest worry here is going to be the hard knock life at the beginning of the fight. If the second parry fails, he's going to throw his heavy, get his power gain, go unstoppable. I'm probably going to forget about the unstoppable because it happens. And then the brute force, since I don't have class advantage, it's going to be ticking a lot more than if I was using a science champion. But beyond that, it's a pretty straight up apocalypse fight. All right, moving on to attack. First up, we've got this Kate Bishop from Bitter Steel. He's used her extensively on attack. First time seeing her on defense from him. Do go advanced power boost just to try to finish this fight a little bit faster. And I go back to read the node telling me when I'm going to get my buffs, because I completely forgot to finish reading the other node that tells me that passive prowess turns off the stun limber part. So yeah, just play it a little bit safe there at the beginning, but ends up not mattering because APOC has those 4 passive prowess with Cable, and without Cable he'd still have the 1. Yeah, I did not practice a whole lot against Kate, so I wasn't totally familiar with her animations. But, yeah, I mean, APOC is still an absolute monster that turns off everything Kate does. Well, with the exception of her SB2 effect through the block on the second hit. Then moving on, we got Apocalypse versus Kingpin. I didn't mention it before, but I do have precision turned off for these first few fights, so I don't crit as much as possible, because I really don't want to deal with the special 2 from Kingpin, and I didn't want to deal with it from Kate. But APOC is a crit machine right now, which is just annoying. You're supposed to crit against the fights I want you to crit, and not crit when I don't want you to crit. But yeah, I mean, it's literally just a Kingpin fight that Apocalypse is going to destroy with no issues. And then next up, we get to face F2P's Doom. Go through the arduous process of placing all of Reed's pre-fights. I could have ended up just placing the Petrify and then going back to using Apocalypse, but just felt safer using Reed since he could reapply the Petrify if necessary with the special 2. But this had to be the most special, happy Doctor Doom I have ever faced. Every time he got that special 1, he threw it right away, which was absolutely fantastic. Oh yeah, just getting up, the 3 stacks of the debuffs. If this was a mini boss or maybe a rank 5, would have gone to the special 3 for the Fury, but just start spamming special 1s here. And luckily I've been able to nail my evades and parries, so Reed hasn't had to evade. But yeah, speak a little early. Double evade there. Goodness. Stop just evading and let me just block on my own Reed. And now we go up to the fight that I was most worried about. This Mantis. The hope is that I'm able to get my debuffs to stick through her Tranquilize, and she doesn't throw a special 1 into my block, which would force me to either have a special or get slept. Since I do have prowess, I'm able to remove the encroaching sleep whenever I throw a special. I don't have to wait for it to naturally expire. Luckily, we're doing a pretty good job of pushing into her special 2. I did put the Precision Mastery back on for these last 2 fights, Not that it mattered a whole lot due to the challenger rating of the 7-star of this Mantis. And whatever F2P fed his Doom, he did not feed to his Mantis because this lady does not want to throw a single special. Finally, she throws one. Get our SP2 debuffs reapplied and hard block. Not let her throw that special one. Extra combat power rate from the 7-star allows us to push her to a special 2 a little bit easier. And once again, she's just spamming heavies, and she tries to catch me with the special there, but luckily we're able to dex out of it. And I believe this special 2 ends up finishing her. So, ended up going really straightforward with Apocalypse. And finally, we have this Wong. We do have the 3 read pre-fights and a guidance. The reads are just to try and, blunt his power gain if he wants to spam a heavy, and the guidance will allow us to parry as much as we want and ignore limber, because we really just don't want this guy throwing a heavy. The invuln is if we lose control of his power, or if we forget about the unstoppable with his heavy, because, sometimes things happen. But get up our disorient immunity, and we don't have to worry about failed parries. And now the only thing we have to do is bait out specials and to remember to heavy once he gets to 90 Eldritch. And Apocalypse is just going to win the fight if we do those 2 things. And he throws a special, we don't get brute force to death. Get those pre-fights refreshed just in time. Get pretty much absolutely nothing back from the power back boost there. That heavy was just a little early, so we have to do another one to knock off his energy. But yeah, at this point, the fight's pretty much over. Just need to hit him a few times. I don't think this special one finishes him. Maybe one more special one, and that's going to be it for Wong. So, yeah, thankfully, we get out of these fights without really any issues at all. Everything went according to plan. Always good to start off the season relatively strong with all my fights. We did end up winning this war. It looked like it was a little sloppy on both sides, but great war to SSx. Hope they win out the rest of their season, and hope 4Loki does the same. Thanks for watching.